to the county sheriff to bring the defendant down. We make sure they're assigned an attorney, a judge, and a prosecutor within 2 days of being in arrest, and we can start to talk about it. 47% of those cases, being the felony 4s and felony 5s that come out of those regions, are getting resolved within 21 days of the time they committed their crime. It's not like cheap justice, it's regular justice, it's just happening quicker. They're either going to go off on probation or they're going off to the state penitentiary, but they're getting off our dime, and we're moving them through quicker. We also have 48 hookups through video conferencing available. So now we don't have to transport prisoners all over the county to get them into court. If they're out in Cuyahoga County and they got an arraignment here today, we do it by video conferencing. If an attorney, a public defender wants to meet with his client, he can do it from his office and hook up by video conferencing with the person in the jail. All they got to do is make the connections with the sheriff's department. So we're doing a lot of advancing, a lot of things that are streamlining and making our justice system better, and we're working hard to make that happen. We've got a lot more to go. But just recently, we invited the JMI Institute to come back in and give us a report card. They gave us what I would consider to be about a B+. So we're doing a great job. The county and the officials in this community are working well together and making great change, and we're going to continue to do that. I have also been very active in a crime lab. I mean, when in the year 2000, I tried the Sam Shepard case, the third time that case was tried with Steve Dever. We tried, it was a civil case at the time, but it became glaringly apparent that this region doesn't have the scientific forensic analysis available to it. We had 19 experts testify at that trial. We sent them all over the country to get their evidence back to us and their testimony back to us. Immediately thereafter, I did a poll or a questionnaire to all the law enforcement in our county and said, hey, do you think we can use a crime lab? Do you think we can use boom, boom, boom? They all came back and overwhelmingly said yes. I asked the Byrne grant to give us a grant to study that issue. They studied it. They came back and said it's a pretty good idea. It's going to cost this kind of money. You need to do this. But by and large, it laid down the foundation for a crime lab in this county. I then went to the Attorney General, asked him for help to see if they can bring that here. Went to the Cleveland Clinic and Cleveland State University. Cleveland State, I asked them to set up a forensic sciences undergrad program and master program, what they did. The Cleveland Clinic, I asked them to merge with us, create a crime lab together. You do a lot of testing of tissues and stuff. We can do the testing on crime scenes. It's a great synergy. I asked them to come together. They agreed to do that. And then I asked the Attorney General to be part of this. And last year, 2007, Mark Dan made a commitment to move the crime lab in Richfield to downtown Cleveland to be on the same campus with the Cleveland State, the prosecutors, and the Cleveland Clinic. Unfortunately, he got himself in a little trouble. And Mark no longer is the Attorney General, and I'm waiting for the next Attorney General to come in so I can pick up the pieces and complete this deal. I believe in 2009 we are going to have the very good foundation for a regional crime lab to give our law enforcement community better tools to work with it. And lastly, I want to talk about the Great Lakes Energy Development Task Force, which I am the chairman of. We began that by reviewing the county's options for wind development. We want to build the world's first freshwater offshore wind turbines. We want to become the center for wind innovation and potentially create thousands of jobs. The Department of Energy, or the Department of Energy has estimated that Ohio is so suited for this industry that if we take advantage of this opportunity, there can be as many as 80,000 new jobs tied to this industry. So I've been working with our local officials to make sure that we get these turbines out on the lake. Our project is to put a test pilot project out on the lake, put some turbines out there, make sure it happens, blaze the trail for this to happen, and then look forward to the developers who come behind us. And you might be asking, what am I doing with turbines? And I want to tell you, it's all about jobs. Every single day in the courtroom, I deal with people who don't have jobs. And when we can give people jobs and opportunity, it's less likely that they're going to commit crime. And that's what we're all after. Thank you very much.
Ms. Butler, I believe you have 30 seconds left.
That's all. Okay, just quickly, those speedy trials, these are the results of those speedy trials. This one was stopped for jaywalking, and he pled guilty with the police, found 1 rock of cocaine, not intervention. The other was stopped for unlighted license plates, no intervention. But then when Mr. Biddulph, the white person, was stopped for a car chase, intervention. We cannot continue that. I think it's wonderful that we've got justice system reform. I think the crime lab is great, but we need change and fairness and justice.
Mr. Foster will return to the microphone for announcements. Mr. Mason, I think you used up all your time.
I did.
Today at the City Club, we were listening to a debate between the candidates for Cuyahoga County Prosecutor. We'll return in a few minutes for our traditional City Club questions. First, these announcements. We welcome you to the City Club Forum, the longest continuously running free speech forum in the country. Greetings go to those present and those listening to our live webcast provided by the University of Akron. Visit our website, cityclub.org, for information about upcoming programs, and you can also find links to our webcast podcasts. There are 8 more debates here at the City Club in the next couple of weeks. They're listed in your programs, and we hope that you will return. And now we would like to proceed with the question and answer portion of our debate. Holding the microphones today are Development Director Jessica Allen and Outreach Coordinator Deborah Agasti. Let's return to Dean Geoff Mearns.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. As he said, we'll now have the traditional City Club question and answer period. Questions that are addressed to a specific candidate will be answered by that candidate with a 1-minute time limit. The other candidate will then have 30 seconds to respond. Questions that are addressed to both candidates will be answered with a 1-minute time limit for each candidate. Now, as the moderator, I've been authorized by the City Club and by the candidates to ask follow-up questions if I think they're appropriate, or to ask for a clarification. But before we begin, I need to ask all of you, on behalf of the entire audience and behalf of the City Club, to make your questions just that, a question, not a speech punctuated with a question. All of the other people in the audience will appreciate your cooperation, and in particular I will, because Mr. Foster has asked me to police that rule. So don't put me on the spot, ask a question. So let's begin.
Hello, this question is for Prosecutor Mason. Now that we know, based on reports from Scene Magazine, Call Post, and the Plain Dealer, that there is inequity along racial lines as it relates to early intervention programs, what are you going to do to change that, number one? And number two, are the Justice Management Institute meetings public?
I'll start reverse. Yes, those meetings are public. Anybody's welcome to come to them. Let me just say first that the issue that there's a tremendous amount of players and people involved in the justice system, from the police, the courts, the pretrial services, and the prosecutors, obviously. We do not plead cases based on race. It just doesn't happen. That's not how we do it. I find that the articles that were in the paper over the last 2 days, I find it very troubling. I find it disconcerting to all of us who are involved in the justice system. But I would say to you this, that I think we will, I will go out and we're going to ask and find funding to look at this issue very strongly, to have it analyzed, find out what, if there are problems, what the problems are, and then the solutions that we should incorporate. So we're going to do that.
Ms. Butler?
Here's what I'm going to do. At first, we are going to make sure that every county prosecutor gets appropriate sensitivity training as well as other training. The second thing we're going to do is establish a system, a consistent system of standards and practices and policies that everyone is going to have to follow so that they're evenly managed among everybody who's brought before our office. And third of all, we're going to have more training, and monitoring to make sure that there's equality thereafter. I think that this is a problem that doesn't need money. It needs hands-on direction.